there, fellow hungry travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in the Plaza de España in Sevilla, and today we're going to talk about what you should eat and drink and eat again when you're here in Sevilla. And I want to start off with a tapa that can be expanded to something bigger, but for me, it's been the tastiest thing I've had here, and it's Solomillo al whiskey. Now, you hear whiskey in there, and you're like, what's solomillo? Solomillo, it's pork. You have like a little pork steak, right? But they cook it in this whiskey sauce. You think it's something simple, and no, it's just whiskey, whatever. But honestly, that sauce they have for it is amazing. Like, I liked it so much, I didn't let them take the plate, and I was dipping my fries in it. I got some other food. I was dipping my bread in there. I was dipping my sandwich in there, my bocadillo in there. It was that good. I mean, when you come, the solomillo, a whiskey, you gotta have it. Even if it's just a tapas version of it, get it, because oh my gosh, it was so good. And the thing is, there's a lot of good meat kind of things you want to have here, and a meat kind of thing I think you should have when you're here is pringa, and especially if you have like a pringa sandwich. If you're not sure what pringa is, I would consider it more like the Sevilla sloppy joe, because it's a lot of different meats chopped up and put together, and then they put it in a sandwich, you know, but it's really good. And you can have it in a small version. You have it in a bocadillo, a big one, or a smaller one. You like montaditos, the little sandwiches, or bocadillo, the big ones. You can have that, but honestly, pringa, also super good, okay? To continue on with my sandwich theme, I think it's really important that you have serranito when you are here. And serranito, it has the serrano, the serrano ham is in it. But you think, oh, it's just a ham sandwich. No. It's more than a ham sandwich, okay? It's the bocadillo, you have the bread, right? And then you have basically like a pork chop in it, right? The pork's on there. And then they put the serrano ham on it. And then you have roasted peppers on top of it. That was also really good. That was the sandwich I was taking and then dipping it in the oil and the whiskey sauce that was left over from earlier. That's what I was talking about. And it was just so good. So those three things, you can get big or small, so you can kind of combine things. And that's what's so great. There's so many tapas bars around Sevilla that you can try little stuff all over the place and just keep enjoying a drink here, a drink there, a tapa there, a tapa here. It's really, really nice. But I warn you, when you're doing tapas here, make sure you ask for tapas, because that's the cheaper, smaller plate. Sometimes they'll give you a prato or a ración, which is a bigger portion, so just be aware of that. Now, if you want something a bit more hearty, right? You want some more, like, Mark, okay, you got me some sandwich stuff. I need some, like, real food. Like, I mean, first up, those sandwiches, they are real food. Those things were fantastic. But if you want some real meat, you have a carnillada de cerdo, which is pork cheek. Oh, my gosh. I had that. Oh. It's melt in your mouth soft. Oh, it's so good. You want to have that when you're here. They do pork really well. Oh, the secretos ibéricos, like the secrets of Iberian pork, that is phenomenal as well. I mean, honestly, anything that's ibero, like jamón ibérico or secretos ibéricos or anything with pork and ibérico with it, it's going to be good. That's one thing you should have when you're here, because it has a distinct flavor that really like, woo, that's really good. Like, you really fall in love with it, if you can't tell from my smiling fat face. Now, another dish you can have here, and you see this other place around Andalusia as well, is rabo de toro, which is oxtail. You know, they might call it beef tail, whatever, but basically what it is, it's stewed, like you'll see little bones, and the meat on the bones, and it's stewed for a while, and you might have it on fries or other things, but you'll have that. In some restaurants, they'll peel it off for you. Some of it just falls off, but that's really good. I've had that in a number of places around Andalusia, but here in Sevilla, you'd want to have that as well. And the thing is, any carne and salsa, let's say, is going to be good, okay? Because carne and salsa is with meat and sauce. It just basically means like a stewed meat. They do a really good job with that when you are here. Now, if you want a mound of something, I think caracoles would be a good mound food to have. If you're not sure what caracoles are, those are snails. And it's not like escargot. These are smaller snails. They're cooked differently, but you can have that when you're here. If you're looking for some fish hot stuff, you have adobo here, adobo sevillano, which is a dish you can have. It's, I will recommend you wait until it cools down a bit, because it'll melt your mouth with the oil and stuff. So not bad if you're looking for something. It goes well if you get the calamari, you know, here. That works too. But yeah, there's the adobo. Or if you want to try to be healthy, I mean, God forbid you were healthy on vacation, but you want to get the espinacos con garbanzos, which is basically spinach and garbanzo beans, you know, chickpeas, right? You can have those together. I think when you see it on the menu, it'll look like kind of like a spinach artichoke dip kind of thing with the garbanzo beans in there. Look, it's actually pretty good, especially if you're like tired of all the meats and stuff. It's kind of a nice palate cleanser, I guess I'd say. The seasoning they have in it, I don't know if it's really a cleanser, but it is something different, and it can help things move along after all that meat, let's say. Now, I do find it funny that we have all these heavy meats and heavy foods here in Sevilla when it gets so hot in the summertime. And one thing you need to realize is this summer, you're going to have a lot of cold soups. There's two main ones you want to have. One, the Spanish gazpacho. We've heard of that before. It's, the cucumber and the tomato ground up, and there's cucumbers in it. It's a really nice, cold, thinner tomato soup, and it really helps on a hot day because you don't want the hot soup on a hot day. You want the cold soup because it really kind of cools you off. And honestly, they sell it in the stores in little packs so you can actually just drink it as you go around. So that's something. If you want something else, you have salmorejo, which I feel it's more like of a quart of a thing, but you get it here. That's more of a thicker tomato soup. Think of a cold tomato bisque. You have that. They'll have ham bits, bacon bits in there, and some hard-boiled egg they'll throw in there too. So that could be something. So that's a kind of a cooler food to have if you're just getting too hot, because it does happen. And honestly, if you're here in the summertime, don't forget to drink a lot of water. You need to stay hydrated because the heat, it will just dry you out, and it's not safe. And especially in the midday sun, not good. That's why it's important that we drink a lot. Now, yes, you should drink a lot of water, but there's also some other drinks you should have here when you're in Sevilla. Now, some places you'll see what they call orange wine or vino de naranjas. First off, it's not wine made of oranges. All it is the local sweet wine, and they throw some orange rinds in there. So you don't see it as often as sometimes you think you will, but you can get that. So this is what the vino de naranja looks like, the orange wine. It's just normal wine. They just have the rinds in there that made it flavored up. They pour it from a bottle just like normal wine too, so you have that. It's very refreshing. I like it. I like this a lot. Also, another little quickie you might see at some of the tapas places is just boiled shrimp. Simple, tasty, boiled shrimp. I saw it all over the place. Lots of guys were getting it, so that might be something else you want to try here in Sevilla. But honestly, what you want to have, that sweet wine, the manzanilla, that's the sweet wine that's from around here. They love their sweet wine. That's like a sherry kind of thing. And you have that, and that's actually really refreshing because they serve it so cold that you get it. And the manzanilla, I understand manzana means apple, but it's actually made out of grapes. But it's so sweet, it actually tastes almost like apple. And that coldness, briskness, man, it really cuts through the heat of the day. So you want to have that. And we're here in Spain, and Tinto de Verano for the heat's very popular. If you're not sure what Tinto de Verano is, it's just red wine mixed with basically like Sprite. It's like a sodified version of wine. It's lower alcohol, but that is very refreshing. But if you want like a local version of it where they use the sweet wine instead of normal wine, you have the rebujito, which is the sherry, the sweet wine, mixed with, whatever your favorite lemon lime soda is, whether you like 7-Up or Sprite. It's basically that going in there. And it does have a different flavor than Tinto de Verano. So I recommend getting both and then trying it that is different. Because remember, Tinto de Verano is red wine with it. And this one, usually, the sherries, the ones I've been having, the manzanilla and stuff, it's a white wine, so you have that. So it definitely gives a different vibe, a different flavor, but it's also really tasty and refreshing. And you'll notice I keep talking about refreshing because it really does get hot here when you do come here. So do be safe about that. So those drinks will really help you out, but honestly, you'll see a lot of kiosks around that are selling waters. Like you can get bottles of water for €1. Do get them whenever you can to fill up, or a big bottle for a couple euros. It's worth it because the heat and the sun will get you, so be safe with that. Now, looking at some of the sweeter things you could have, or things you would more consider in the sweet family, yes, they do have the traditional Spanish desserts here. That's not a problem to find. You'll find those, but some more kind of local things you might see is torrijas. And torrijas is basically like, if you look online, they'll say, oh, it's Spanish French toast. I kind of think of it more like, it looks like if the French toast had a complete covering, because the Spanish are really good at frying things to get it completely covered in that croqueta covering. Imagine French toast with like a croqueta covering. That's kind of like what it is, but it's this bread, old bread, stale bread, whatever bread, and they let it soak in egg, for a while, and they fry it up, and it has this crispy outer coating, and they might put syrup on it, there might be honey on it. You can put anything you want with powdered sugar, it doesn't matter. I've seen like 10 different things people put on it, but that's something you can get, which is really tasty. And sometimes people just get tortas, which is basically fried bread. You can get that as well. But there's honestly a lot of really great food here in Sevilla. And since it's a big city, it's a big tourist town, you have a lot of different options for food too. You don't just have to eat the local food. You can get Spanish food from all over. You get international food from all over here as well. And I've seen restaurants from all over the world here in Sevilla because it's such a big international city with the tourists. So you do have a lot of different food options when you are here. But honestly, if you only can have one thing when you're here, have the Solomillo al whiskey. Seriously, it was amazing. Pork with the whiskey sauce. phenomenal. Accidentally order some extra fries to go with it so you can just get that sauce when they try to take it from you, smack their hand away and say, no, quiero más. I want more. No, I want more. One thing I do love about eating here in Sevilla is that no matter where you go, the people are still super friendly. Even if it's a super touristy place like Seville, you're still going to get good service and have some good food and have a good discussion about why you like the food or didn't like the food. Here we had a whole discussion why adobo really wasn't maybe for me, but the pork, yeah, the pork was totally for me. So, yeah, I can't say enough good things about the people here in Sevilla. Anyway, I hope this helps you know what to eat when you come here to Sevilla. It's a fantastic city. We have videos on our main Wolters World channel that talks about the don'ts of visiting Sevilla, day trips from here, all kinds of other great stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and help us grow our Wolters World Eats channel so we can help people find the right foods to find in new countries. Because it's not just knowing the right restaurant, because restaurants change. But knowing what to eat that's more typical for that city is something that helps you find new places and different restaurants around the world. Anyway, I wish you all the best. I'll say bye from here in Sevilla.